Hey, everybody, Jeff Marr with STEM School Highlands Ranch, and joining me is Brandon Adams, Nebula Intern Program Manager for Lockheed Martin Space. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us and talking about the internship program that you guys have going on.
Absolutely, Jeff. I appreciate you having me here. It's great.
So we have industry partners with STEM School Highlands Ranch as part of our Building Ships program, which has to do with mentorships, internships, relationships, friendships, and more. Lockheed Martin is one of those longstanding partners that we have, and we're so grateful to have that relationship with Lockheed Martin because it's really created a funnel for our students to be introduced to an amazing industry. And so many of our students end up pursuing careers that lead them into Lockheed Martin directly. So you handle the intern program, including the summer internship program, which I know is very popular. It's a paid internship program, and a lot of our students are definitely interested in that. So I'm just going to let you take it away, Brandon, and talk about the program, your involvement, and the relationship that you guys have with STEM.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this will be my second year as the Nebula Intern Program Manager. Last year, I sort of jumped in right as soon as it got started up. So I was playing a bit of catch up, and luckily I had a tech lead that helped me kind of work my way into it. But yeah, it's just a really great opportunity for early career high school and college students to come work at Lockheed Martin and see what we do for space. And we have other business areas as well, but space is located here in Littleton. That's where they're headquartered. And so we really get to bring a lot of these students in and really kind of, show them what we do on a day-to-day basis. And they sit alongside engineers and folks who've been doing this for, 15, 20 years. I've only been with the company 2 years now, and amazed to see what these engineers do day to day. And bringing these students in is such a great opportunity. And so we'll have over 600 interns across the whole space organization. So we're headquartered here in Littleton, but there's locations all over the country, and so we'll have folks all over the place. And so my internship program called Nebula is sort of a new sort of way that we can get interns into the company. And so we'll have roughly 10% of the space internships, so over 60 interns just in BITE alone. And so BITE stands for Business Innovation, Transformation, and Enterprise Excellence. And we're sort of like the think tank wing of space, right? So when somebody comes in, they go, we got this really great idea, but we don't know how to really do it. BITE goes, we'll take it. And so we get to do these really cool bleeding edge projects and really get to work with, what else is out there. We've got some 5G stuff. It's one of my projects I'm working on is some 5G things. We're working with UAVs, some drones, different things like that. And when these interns come in, they don't just do a standard sort of, have a meeting, get some coffee, hang out with all of our friends. No, we actually put our interns to work. Like you said, it's a paid internship. And so we really want to maximize the internship experience for the interns when they come in. And so with Nebula, was created 2 years ago. This will be the third summer coming up. And we really sort of wanted to say, how can we make this a better experience? It's sort of disjointed, even Watertown campus itself is a massive piece of property. And so folks are sort of geolocated within campus and they don't really get to see each other all the time. And so what we've done now is with Nebula is we actually early onboard our students. So typically they would start right at the 1st of June, since most schools are out by June. Then we can start our summer work program. And so what we want to be able to do is bring these folks in 1 to 2 weeks early, get their hardware already on order, get their software on order, get a system access on order. And so when they start full time, they can go straight to work. Onboarding for me was I had to wait a week for this thing to get approved, and and when you have a 9-week internship program, you can't wait weeks. Weeks or months in the internship world. So we really don't have that levity. And so having that ability to early onboard is one of the big tenets of Nebula. Another one is these projects that are vetted by the business. So they're meaningful projects, right? Like I said, they don't just come in and sit around and just kind of wait for the day to end. We have a lot of STEM related projects that we work, mostly in computer science, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. Those are the sort of the things that we focus on. And we want students to come in and really embrace what we're doing at Lockheed Martin Space within BITE. And so I know last year we had 3 interns from STEM Highlands Ranch that worked on their augmented reality iPad application that got rave reviews. I will say, even since then, when they were interviewed, one of our corporate groups they were going to take that application on and sort of use it at the government level. So they want to use it for government customers. So it's a great way for us to show how we innovate at Lockheed Martin Space. And so that's what we're looking to do is we look for these students who are excited about technology. They want to embrace these technologies and help the business use them to become sleeker and smarter and faster, because we have competition now with SpaceX and Blue Origin and others out there that have seemingly endless piles of money, and they don't have to deal with the government when they get this money because they're privately owned. And so they're able to innovate faster. And so that's what we have to really think about as a business now, is we got to innovate faster. And so bringing in this group of high school and college age students, we can use those mentalities to help us innovate faster. We can, I got to sort of backseat drive last year in my first year as the program manager, and really kind of just watch and understand the thought processes of these early career professionals. And I've been out of high school 20 years, and there's no way I could compete with some of these high schoolers now. Just the things that they're able to do is fascinating to me. And it's every day in the summertime, it's a grind. It's long hours, it's hard work, it's 11th hour sort of project completions. But when it all comes together, the culmination at the end of for the showcase, it's just something else. I can't even explain it. You just have to kind of be there in person to experience it. And so we really want folks to come in and really sort of be part of the team, right? We bring them in, we really sort of just, give them a project with no guardrails. We're at point A, let's get to point B. I really don't care how you get there, let's just get there, right? And so we really want them to use their imagination and sort of explore the space, instead of just giving them a defined set of rules that they go A to B to C to D. No. We're at A, let's get to B. If we got to take some curves and some backtracking, that's okay with me. Let's just get there and make sure we deliver the product. And so it's been really interesting. This year, we're actually expanding. We got a team that's going to be down in Colorado Springs. We got another team in Huntsville, Alabama, that'll be under my desktop. And so I'll have 19 total interns working for me this summer. So it'll be an interesting ride for me for sure, but definitely excited to get the summer underway.
Well, that's why Lockheed Martin is such a great partner of ours, because of that model for flexibility that you just described aligns perfectly with STEM's model for problem-based learning, which is the units in our classroom presented to these students where they actually learn to solve real-world problems versus actually solving problems on a standard worksheet that you and I went through during our school experience. And so they're able to do that in the classroom, and then at their internship, they are already adjusted to that model, and they have that free thinking environment, which leads to some pretty amazing innovations from our students, including a group of students who developed an AR-based app for Lockheed Martin last year. And I had the ability to talk to some of those students, and they gave me the information that they could. I know a lot of this information is classified, but they talked about their exposure to that particular assignment and what it did for them. And so I think, I imagine that in your experience with some of these interns, that in some cases, they even impress some of the engineers with Lockheed Martin in terms of like some of their thought process and the ideas they come up with.
100%. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times when we show that AR app, how many folks are just like, and high schoolers did this? Like, yeah, it just explodes their brain, right? They can't even comprehend it. And I'm like, this is the kind of thing that we're after, right? And having that ability that, having that early on in that educational standpoint of understanding what it takes to become an engineer or become whatever the case at Lockheed Martin. We're not just engineers. Like, I don't have an engineering degree, but I work at Lockheed Martin, right? There are several folks at Lockheed Martin who don't have an engineering degree, and you don't necessarily need one to come work here. Doesn't hurt, but it doesn't. It doesn't block you from entering the workforce. And so having that early on education of understanding, right, and partner with the internship program that we have. And like I said, all of my students this year for high school are coming out of STEM Highlands Ranch, which is awesome. I can't wait to meet you guys if you're watching. This is what I look like. I'm your manager, so I'll be seeing you here in 2 or 3 weeks, and really excited to get you coming on. But having that ability gets them ramped in faster. It really helps us out. And so, like I said, it's a 9-week internship for the high schoolers. And it's sometimes tough to get over some of these hurdles in 9 weeks. We don't have a year and a half where we're funded by a program where it's it's internal research and development, and we've got some money to play with, and we can kind of go iterate and test. Like I said, weeks or months in the intern world. And so it's amazing to see, specifically when the guys developed that app last year, how quickly they were able to go through some of the processes and get them done. And then they came to me, they're like, "Hey, we've got this thing working. Like it works." And I'm like, "Well, what can we make it better? Like
Yeah.
what do we have for feedback? So as we go through the process of creating these things, we'll show them off to, executive members of the leadership team. I know we presented to several times to the EVP of space last year, a lot of executive leadership team VPs, directors, folks like that. And so they would show this application off, and then we get feedback immediately from the leadership, and they'd say, I'd really like to see this, or can you do that, right? And really sort of just like, it kind of break it, like can we add this functionality in? And within a week, they had this functionality plugged in and tested out, and it was working. So that's what we need. We need that quick iteration to go through those processes. And really, if students want to come through my internship program and work for Lockheed Martin Space after they graduate college, this gives them an excellent opportunity to see what we do as a business, and it prepares them for the workforce. I think even better, because I know when I graduated from college, I did not have a job lined up. I did not go through an internship program. I was just stabbing in the dark, found a job in technology, and then kind of work my way here after 20 years. And so having that sort of path opened up for you really helps a lot of folks come in and understand the mission, understand the values of the company and what we do, and then go straight to work. And it's been phenomenal. We actually converted the first 2 interns of the program converted to full time, one back in January, one in July. So we'll have 2 rolling over into full time. So the payoff's starting to happen now. We'll see more and more folks as they graduate college. They'll come over to full time employment, and then they'll go work with various teams. They won't necessarily stay in my organization. They'll go elsewhere in space or another business area and go work for them.
Well, and that leads me to my next question in terms of keeping tabs on some of these students. Since they are still in high school, they still have to go through their college experience and get their degree. So how do you keep that relationship going with some of your interns? Because I know for a fact that, we have STEM alumni who are currently working for Lockheed Martin.
Yep. So what we do is when you come through Nebula as a high schooler, we continue into college, right? So if you want to continue your internship program, wherever you go to college, if it's out of state, if it's in state, regardless, you'll come back to work for the Nebula program the next summer. And then what I did for 2 of my the 2 that converted over, I actually had a meeting with them before their final semester of college, and they came to me and they're like, what classes should I take? This is what I want to go do, right? They were able to explore what we had at space, different programs, things of that nature. I want to go do this thing. Okay, well, I can go introduce you to the people who work there, right? I can network you with people who may or may not be alumni of your school, right? So it's just networking, right? We're building networks, and like, Dr. Kennedy says, we're building ships relationships, all those things. And I really love that model. And so I try to emulate that at Lockheed Martin, right? So I've understood kind of what STEM does and sort of pulled that into what I do now. And so all my interns that are nearing graduation from college, I'll set time up and say, okay, go talk with this person. I know them. I know this is what they work on. This is probably interesting to you. Go sit with them for a day. You go over there and sit with them and see what they do. If it's not interesting, come back, we'll retool it, right? So I really want to put the interns in the driver's seat of their career, right? I don't want to, I don't just like, oh, you're good at this thing, go do that. Well, no, if you don't want to do that, I'm not going to put you there. That's a waste of a resource to me, right? That's not doing you any justice as a student either. So I want to understand what the interns are looking for from a career, and then go make those connections with the folks who actually do it day to day. And that's really what it's all about. And at the end of the day, that's rewarding for me. If I can, it's like having your kids grow up and go on. And you're like, oh, they're going to work with this cool job now. They're going to go do this cool thing now. It's like I get to see that, right? And I can sort of play off that success that they have. It really just helps me understand like where am I missing points as a manager, and how can I get better and improve the situation for the next person coming through for the next summer internship.
Well, and I'm glad you made that point right there, because there are different grade levels who will see this interview. Some will be freshmen, sophomores, juniors. Many parents of middle schoolers, even elementary school kids at STEM, because they our students are, as you mentioned, are pretty far ahead compared to when we went to school. So they're going to be thinking about internships in the future. I know that your summer internships are pretty much maxed out, all set in stone for the summer of 22.
Yep.
So what would you want to tell those parents and students who are planning for next year and the year after in terms of the process, what they need to do, what they can expect?
Yeah, so our intern hiring process actually starts about 2 weeks after the internship for the summer ends, right? So as soon as they wrap up, I get about a week to decompress and breathe, and then it's right back into planning for the next season. So our intern planning season runs from August until March. And what we typically do is we have our interviews for candidates at December of the year prior for the next summer, right? So at the end of last year, I had an interview process for all my Denver folks, and then I had some into January and February for the other teams that I've got that are remote. And so what you can do is go link up with Dr. Kennedy. He has all the process and information to get that going. And what you basically will do is create a Tallo profile. And Tallo is like LinkedIn for high schoolers, right? For the non-professionals out there. And so what that does is you fill out the form, and there's a place in there that says, how do I know you? Or I can't remember what exactly the question is, and say Lockheed Martin, right? There's an option for Lockheed Martin. And so what that does is that puts you into our candidate pool. And so talent acquisition will then go through, and they'll sync up with me as a hiring manager and say, who are you looking for? What talent do you need? What skill set do you need, et cetera? And I'll say, I need this, this, and this, right? Based on the job recs that I have. And so they'll go out and scope all those profiles that have all those things that match, and then they'll sort them through. And then whoever they think are the top 10 candidates, they'll pull those 10 candidates out, and then we'll interview them. And then once we have the interviews, we'll pick from who we think would fit the bill the best. And then we offer them internships, and then I have about a 3-month low point, and then it ramps back up at the end of May, and then I'm full on until the end of August. So that's basically how my year goes. But Dr. Kennedy is a great resource for those things, and he can put you into contact with myself if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer those about the internship program. If you have anything further, Dr. Kennedy has my contact info, and I'd love to answer any questions that anybody would have.
Absolutely. And I'll put Dr. Kennedy's contact information on the screen for everybody. Brandon, I do thank you for your time. I can tell how excited you are for this program and for this relationship that STEM has with Lockheed Martin, which we know is only going to get stronger as time moves on. Any last words?
I'm ready for this summer. I can't explain it anymore, Jeff. I'm so excited. Like I said, 19 interns. 2 in brand new in places that we haven't had them before, so it's going to be a new challenge for me, but definitely ready to see. Some of the projects we've got coming up are very, very exciting, very cool things that we're working on with our customer base. I can't go into details here, but I'm sure once we get through those and once we get them cleared for external viewing, we can maybe share those out later on and see what some of the work that these interns do, maybe get spark that fire for somebody else that wants to come in and work for Lockheed Martin Space.
Absolutely. And our students are just as excited too for this summer. So Brandon, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we'll be checking in with you again soon.
Thanks, Jeff.